Well now, this is something that clearly needs my attention. No sooner had I recently visited my Perfect World 2 theme park, got an urge to carry on building there, and announced I'd be continuing to build the theme park in a creative stream-only series, that I then got spammed across YouTube and Discord about the release of this. Create Coasters Simulated, a brand new add-on for Create that lets you build actual roller coasters. I then spent the entirety of Saturday morning trying to convert a version of Perfect World 2 to NeoForge, update to Create 6, update all the other mods where possible, and added Create Coasters Simulated to the pack. The good news is I now have a working pack and I only had to remove a few minor mods. Bad news is my theme park is absolutely broken, and although it could be repaired, there's just too many things now not working to make me want to do it. So what's the plan, I hear you ask? Well, for now the plan is to try the new pack over here in a new creative world and see what Create Coaster Simulated can do by trying to build a big old roller coaster, and with aeronautics added now as well, we can even try upgraded versions of some of our other rides, such as the drop tower or swinging chairs. I have a feeling we're going to be able to do a lot more than we could before. If this test is successful, then the Creative Stream series will indeed go ahead in a new theme park focused pack in a new world with a whole lot of new toys. If not, we'll just carry on as we were going to do anyway, so there's nothing to lose. And full disclosure, besides the trailer, I know nothing about this mod whatsoever, so if you're looking for a guide for all things Create Coaster Simulated, this is probably not the one. But if you want to see me fumble through my first reactions as we embark on a new mission of discovery with this mod, then welcome. Expect derps. Now let's dive in and see what this mod is all about. Now, I guess the first thing we should do is look at the Simulated Coasters tab, and we've got a whole lot of tabs here because, of course, this is the Perfect World 2 pack, and I have managed to get most of the other mods on here that we had before. This is the one we're after, and I'll tell you what, there's not as much there as I was expecting. But we've got 5 things to look at. Let's have a look. So, we need anchor points, we connect them with coaster track, and we get track. That kind of makes sense. You can then use a wrench to change the path. Ooh, okay. So we can just sort of rotate the anchor points around. We can also dye the different parts of the track so we can make ridiculously colored tracks like this, I guess. We can also add chain to the tracks. Okay, this is good because that means we can do lift hills and things like that. Okay, so that's the tracks. Let's have a look at anchor points as well, which looks to be the same ponder. Okay, got the coaster carts, which I assume work just like trains. And we can link them together with chains. We can adjust the length with a wrench. Okay, that's cool. So that's obviously how we make train cars. And then we can build whatever we want on top. Very nice. Also got a rivet, which allows blocks to be placed at any angle or offset from the grid. Oh, really? Okay, that sounds fun. And we have a balloon. Lifts sub-levels slightly off the ground, orients them upright. When shot with a projectile, pops. When wrenched while sneaking, retrieves the balloon without popping nearby balloons. Okay, so I guess that's just for moving stuff around. First thing we need to do, of course, is to put down a bit of coaster track. And with a wrench, we can... Ooh, hello. What's this? Oh, wow, we can proper mess with stuff. Ugh. Okay. Well, that's actually pretty cool. Oh, we can actually put, like, camber on it as well. Oh, this is amazing. Didn't tell me I could do this in the ponder. And raise it up as well, stick it on a pole. Well, this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be able to do pretty much whatever we want. We hold down Alt, we can even get rid of all the snapping. And it looks like we can make some proper deadly roller coaster track. I wouldn't want to ride that. Let's put a raised bit of track in here. And we can literally just put coaster carts, link those with a chain. And this is cool. We can actually change the distance between the carts by right-clicking or shift right-clicking. Handy. Let's just dump a bunch of seats on those for now. I guess if you wanted this to move, you'd need to put chain between those. Let's create a giant lift hill over here. Right, so I've just put in a basic sort of lift hill and then a drop on the other side. So I guess if we just give this power. Oh, there we go. It's going. Does the rest of this just work on gravity then? Let's just crank this speed up a little bit. Oh, I see. And we're actually going to need power on every chain connection. So let's sit on here and see what happens, I guess. Okay, well. Oh, look at that. Oh. Oh, dear. Well, that doesn't look like it's gone particularly well for me. We've also got these screws, which if you notice, look, we can put them in weird places, like that. Then we can also rotate them round. We can hold Alt to completely disable the snap look, and we can literally put it wherever we want. And then, can we just build anything on that? Oh my days. Okay, well, I mean, just that alone is a game changer. That's amazing. Guess my next question is, can you also do like a hanging coaster with these things? So can I put them? I can stick them on the bottom of stuff. Ooh. Then I guess if I just do that, we now have a hanging rail. Okay, this is cool. I mean, that's a problem though. Putting my seat down upside down. What in the world? Does that mean I can't do a hanging coaster? Unless you bought it seated upside down? That would be a shame. Yeah, that's just really not helpful. Got an idea. How about if we build something here that's not attached to the carts, put a seat on it, then can we attach it to the carts? So not like that we can't, but we do have great aeronautics. So if we grab this, get some super glue to glue all this together first, actually. Let's just do that. And then we're going to turn this into a physics contraption. Add a couple of chains. Then we should be able to stick this bit together. And then stick this to this. No? Ah, no, it was slime balls that do the sticky thing, isn't it? See, I'm not very well versed in aeronautics. If we click on the end there, then there, no. Oh! I'm throwing slime. They're bouncy balls? I have no idea what causes that, but that's cool. Apparently it was out of range, so let's just get it really close. Invalid directions. Is that because it still thinks we're upside down? So how would we do a suspended roller coaster then? Because, well, we definitely want to be able to do those. In fact, wasn't there one in the trailer? Yep, that looks like a suspended roller coaster to me. And that's literally just a girder, some copycats, and a couple of seats. Why is that the right way up for you, sir? So on the trailer, they've literally just got something like this, and then the seats there. But they're still upside down. Ooh, I wonder. I put rivets there. Perfect, there we go. So that's how you can do a hanging coaster. And by the looks of the trailer, physics are also going to affect this. So if I was to do something like that. Oh, see ya. So we've got another train set up over there. Let's just bend this track out like that. I'm fully aware this is just going to make us fly off the end, but I just want to see, does it actually swing out? Oh, it does. Look at that. Okay, so with that in mind, I think it's time we try and make a proper hanging coaster. So we'll have this as our platform area, and the first thing we're going to need to do is go up. Huh. Well, I wasn't expecting that. So I built this column on an angle because I thought it would be fun and I'd be able to swoop a track up to here, but I cannot connect anchor points between sub-levels. So I guess what I'd need to do would be to put another rivet on here, put that back this way round, and is that now on the same sub-level again? Nope. So would I have to do this maybe, then put the anchor points on? Now I should be able to connect. Indeed I can. Now, I do want to make sure that this station area stays straight. So what I need to do is lift this up and sort of snap it into place. Lift it up vertically and snap it into place. Do the same on this side. There we go. Now our station is straight again. Then this is going up. This is going to be our lift hill. I'll tell you what, we probably don't actually need that point there. We're probably better off just connecting directly from here up to... Nope, too far away. So can we go into create coasters simulated? Go to config. Max track connection span. Let's set that to 64. There we go. Now we can reach. We have to straighten up our station again, though. There we go. That's better. Now we're going to go into a terrifying drop over this way. So let's connect that to there so you get thrown out sideways. Can I connect this one to this one, or am I going to need to put in another point? Ooh, no, I can. Can I go from there down to here? Yep. That is going to be absolutely terrifying, isn't it? Well, I'm making a bit of progress. The roller coaster is currently going to go up like this, then it's going to swing down and round. You're going to get flung out sideways a bit and go this way. Now, I wonder, can we put in a loop-de-loop? Okay, so we've got a test layout. We have a loop-de-loop in here now, which then swoops down under this bit of track, and then we've got a little bit of a janky corkscrew. I haven't really done very well with that, but it kind of works, maybe. And then it swings around this way and comes back into the station. So let's build ourselves a little cart. So I've attached my chain through the station and all the way up to there. I'm just sorting out power, but what I want to make sure I'm doing is putting in some clutches so that I can actually control this train. Although I did it too soon and the train's actually setting off already. Oh no, am I going to get it in time? I need to sit on the front. Okay. Whoa. Okay, that's pretty cool. Upside down. Oh no, we didn't have enough momentum. Oh dear. Oh no, we're gonna have to actually properly work out all the physics and stuff as well. I guess that kind of makes sense, but I mean, it looks cool when it's going around. It just loses too much momentum on my janky corner over here. Right, so I've adjusted the track slightly. I still don't think it's going to work, but what we are gonna try and do is get this back where we want it. And if we keep attaching balloons to it, maybe it'll eventually float. Not really. How do we get this back on the track? So I think I need this, the creative physics stuff. I guess if this happened in a survival world, you'd have to find another way, but this should work for us. So can I do this? And is there a way to reattach it? I don't really think there is. I mean, this one seems to have got reattached, but it's facing the wrong way. Let me swap those chairs around. Oh, no, that one's still facing the wrong way. Oh, dear. Thing is, I don't think that's going to make it all the way up here still. Oh, no, it does. And it goes down. Spins around over there. Whoa, that'll break your neck. And then it comes round this way. Okay, so it did actually kind of work that time. Let's actually sit on it and give it a ride. I think this is probably going to make us feel sick, especially that bit over there. That bit over there is brutal. This bit here is nice and smooth. Yep, that's okay, a little bit janky. Could be worse. That bit there is very janky. Then we're upside down. We're spinning round. Oh my days, yeah. And then we've got the horrible loop-de-loop corkscrew thing. Yep, that was pretty rough. And then we come back into the station. I'll tell you what, with a bit of practice, I think this could actually work quite well. We need to learn how to actually smooth out the corners a lot more. We need to learn a little bit more about physics to actually allow all the drops and things to be able to carry the coaster through. But I am planning on using this for a creative series, so it's not the end of the world if things go wrong and we lose trains. We can just keep remaking them and destroying the ones that go off the tracks. But this is a very cool mod so far. I like it. Something else I do want to test, though, is that now we have Create Aeronautics, can we do something fun with a swinging chair ride? And I reckon we can. So let's just start with a mechanical bearing, and then we'll get a load of stuff up here, and then we're just going to do a very, very basic one for now. So if we were to put a chair here with some rope connectors on the side, and a rope connector there and there, then we'll stick that seat together. We'll stick these rope connectors to this, stick all that together. And if we attach ropes there and there, but then turn that into a physics contraption. If we turn this on, will the chair swing out? That's what I want to know. So apparently not. I can't seem to put these sort of rope attachment things onto a moving contraption, which I'll be honest, I kind of thought was the whole point of them. So I guess what I need to work out is how to attach a simulated contraption thing to a normal contraption. Well, turning that into a simulated contraption doesn't help. Made a right mess of this. So I guess we wouldn't be able to make an awesome chair swing like I was hoping, at least not using that method. But I guess we can actually use aeronautics to combine this coaster stuff in other ways to make some cool rides. Because I'm going to assume if we were to do that, and then have a rope, then glue this chair together like that, turn that into a simulated contraption. Can we attach that to there? Ooh, we can. Okay, so we can have swinging chairs like that. And then, of course, if we power this, that is going to create a proper swinging chair, which would be an absolute disaster if it went upside down. But maybe we can use something like this to make the spinny chairs that we wanted to, because it might be a bit too dangerous to do that on a roller coaster. So could we do our swinging chairs just as something like this? No, I've just realized we're not going to be able to put this on a spinning thing either, because I don't think you can actually move tracks like that. So if we glue all that together, stick a mechanical piston, a couple of piston poles, but I don't think this is going to move the track. No, it's not. If I turn this into a simulated contraption, however, then we can move the track around. So I guess that means we can make track switches and things like that, which is quite cool, but it's still not going to help us make a swinging chair. So I've just loaded back up into the world after it's been transferred, and as you can see, there's a whole lot of broken stuff to do with the builds, but the main thing that's actually broken is the track, the monorail track here. We're also missing a bunch of blocks, but it's basically the Steam and Rails stuff that's broken here. And that's because Steam and Rails never actually updated to 1.21, but there is a NeoForge port of it, which has the same blocks that were on this building originally, and made up a whole bunch of other stuff that's now broken, but they're obviously named something different, because all all of those blocks have completely disappeared from my game. That hasn't stopped me from coming over here, and I'm now starting to switch out the track to see if we can actually convert this area to the new roller coaster mod, because if we can, then we actually get the best of both worlds. We can continue building in this world in creative, but it will be in an updated version. Okay, I think I've managed to replace all of the track. I've had to change the layout ever so slightly in a couple of places, but it should still be basically the same. I just need to build up the train now. I think we're ready to test, so let's just get this thing rolling. Let's grab a seat, and hopefully it's going to work just fine. I've added in a couple of lift hills where they're needed as well. I think I want to watch this from free cam initially, just so we can see if it's getting stuck anywhere. So the weight of that should start pulling the train over any second. Or maybe not. Maybe we still need more chain. There we go. I've given it a little bit more chain. Oh. Oh dear. It appears this train is a little bit big to get through the tunnels, so we're going to have to change things up a little bit. So I've just done a smaller train as a test here. We'll see if this one works. The answer is no, because I left loads of these carriages behind from the last failed attempt, and it smashed into all of those. So let's just remove this again. Okay, train is rebuilt. Let's try again. And I've added a few different carriages this time in the hope that it's going to make it all the way round. Nope, we didn't even make it round the first corner. But I can use this wand to pull it back up again. Let's try that again. I've given it a little speed boost on this chain at the front here, so maybe that'll give it enough power to get round. I think it's actually hitting something here. Yeah, it's hitting that bit of the wall. Well, it's about an hour later, and I now have it working with 2 trains. I've had to put in a few speed boosts in different places, and I've done that just by, for example, if we go down here, we have a chain here set to 256, and that's just providing a whole bunch of power, which is then pushing this thing round. But with 2 trains, it does complete the whole course. However, what I have noticed is the more trains you add, the heavier the contraption becomes, and therefore the more speed boosts you need, because I had it working fine with 1, and then I've had to add extra speed boost to get it going round with 2. But it will complete the whole track now, which is amazing, and it gets all the way back to the start, which, as you can see, has a whole lot of blocks missing, so we're going to need to sort that out. And we also need a start-stop system, so that when it actually comes into the station, it stops for an amount of time to let people on, and then goes away again. But I think this could well be doable. I'm liking it. There's definitely still more things to learn, but I think I'm getting the gist of it. Sort of how to angle the tracks, where to put the speed boosts. And it does make me wonder if I could actually continue in this world and just adapt the rides we've already got. In fact, the ones in the other area, I don't really need to change. They probably still work just fine. But the ability to put full roller coasters in a world like this is absolutely amazing. I absolutely love it. But for now, what I want to do is make the train a bit longer and see if we can still get it doing laps. I want to tidy up the station here and a few other gaps and holes that are still floating about. So, good news, I've tidied up the station a little bit, and I've also put in a system to make this happen with the train. So you'll see it will get to a certain point and then stop, and then it will wait here for about 10 seconds or so, which will allow people to get off and new people to get on. And then once that's done, it should set off again. Yep, there we go, and then it sets off, so that just kicks this chain back in again. And then once our big long train goes up and over, just like that, a few seconds later, this lift chain here will stop. And you can see even with a big train now, it does actually go all the way round. We haven't had any problems where it's been getting stuck. I've had to adjust a couple more bits of the track, but it all does appear to be working now. So it should come around here. Yep, there we go, nice and fast. It does the whole track. Then once the train comes up the back there, the chain goes on again briefly, and it just about stops in line with all of these little queue things. And the way I've actually done that is in here. The secret is in here. So what we have is a laser pointer and a laser sensor. So basically, whenever anything breaks this line, you'll see that the redstone goes off. And what that does is set off a bunch of timers. So this one activates the chain for 6 seconds, which is perfect enough to get the train in position. And then we have a pulse repeater here that after 20 seconds will then fire this, which turns the chain on for another 20 seconds. And that's what actually pushes it up the lift hill and gets it outside. So yeah, the laser pointers, very, very handy. So now all of this is in, I guess there's only one thing left to do, and that is, of course, to try out the ride. So I'm just going to sit here, we'll put on some music, and we'll show the whole ride. And we might get nauseous, but we'll see. Well, I have to say, I'm pretty pleased with that. Test successful. So we know we can build a roller coaster now, and we know that we can actually build it in the world that we already had. But what else can we do with this mod? In the trailer, there are all sorts of cool things happening, like this and these little jumps, which is pretty cool, but I want to know, can we do something else? Because if we're making a theme park, we also kind of need to make the back areas of the rides too. So the places where they would fix the carts, keep spare carts, and things like that. So what I want to know is, can we make a track switcher? So if we have two pieces of track like that, and then we have this being the main bit of track, can we switch these rails out? And I think what I'm actually going to do is dye the rails, just so we can differentiate between them easily. And we worked out that if we turn these into a physics object, then we can move rails. So let's maybe actually attach these to each other. We're actually going to need the beams in here just so it can all attach properly. If we stick this whole thing together here, and when we turn that into a physics object, it should move backwards and forwards. I reckon the best way to do that is probably going to be with a gantry, right? Gantry carriage there. Oh no, wait, because if this needs to be a physics object, we can't attach it to a gantry, can we? Hold on, I've got an idea. I don't know if this is going to work, but what if we actually ran it on a coaster cart? Although that's not going to line up. Right, I've got an idea. We're going to build a little frame, and if we put a physics assembler on this, turn that into a physics object, can we then use the sticky piston to push it? Oh, it crashed. Well, I don't know what happened, but my track has completely disappeared. And it also took me 3 attempts to get back into the world. So, yeah, maybe let's not do it like that. But I have just had a thought, which is, can't we raise this? If we get that level just right, I should be able to build the track segments directly on here. Okay, I've rebuilt the track. So if we put a chain on here, add a gear shift, creative motor. Oh, it kind of works. It just goes a little bit too far. I imagine that's going to happen on this side as well. So let's just block off the end of that, see if that helps. So that one's in line. And there we go. So's that one. Excellent. And if I put a redstone link on there, set to receive, get myself a linked controller, then that almost works. I just need to turn that into a switch instead of a, yeah, press and hold. I reckon what we can probably actually do is use a copper bulb, some track, redstone link, and a comparator. There we go. So that turns it on, which sends it that way. Then we press it again. Then we'll go back the other way. Okay, that's cool. To make this work properly, however, we're also going to need chains. There we go. We've now got chains in, so we can start and stop the carts. So if we load this thing up with a whole bunch of carts, we can then start pushing them forward like this. Get these ones going forward as well. Then if we want to switch tracks, we can do that. Send more out this way. Okay, this is actually really cool. Yep, I'm a fan of that. And a system like this means you can also do some other cool stuff where, for example, a cart will come in, get to the end here. You could even have lasers hooked up to this so that when the lasers get triggered, it stops the system and then triggers a sequence where this could then go over that way and then send the cart off backwards. So you could have a bit of the coaster that goes backwards and then you could do the same thing again. Another track switch, send them off forwards again. I love that you can do that. That's cool. Now, thinking about it, if we were to turn that speed up, put some carts on here, then start it, is this going to be like a launch coaster? I mean, kind of. They're fairly quick. So I've been playing around a little bit more, and I have found another way to actually move things around is with a swivel bearing, which might actually come in handy for our chair swing, because when a swivel bearing activates, so that is via the cog on the side here, it attaches to the block in front, and it turns all of this into a contraption. So that means I can do things like this. If we actually come up the top here and have a look, we can swing between the two. So you can even have roller coasters that have different routes. But that's not what's important. I think what's important is the fact that this could solve our chair swing problems. Let's just go up a little bit. Let's do this. Stick a chair here. Put some rope attachments on it. Do this. Then there's two things we need to do. The first one is going to be to glue this together, turn that into a simulated contraption. Now when we glue this together, put a cog there and give that power. Oh my days, it works. I mean, it looks terrifying, but it works. Let's slow that down to like 4, maybe. There we go. That's a bit more gentle. How about 8? Yeah, I mean, that's quite cool. Whee! Can't believe I forgot about the swivel bearing. That's definitely solved our chair swing problem. It's all about how fast it goes, because that, yeah, that's not ideal. Well, I have to say, I'm very impressed with this mod. We're going to be able to do quite a lot in a brand new theme park, I think. And although I will do the occasional channel video update on how the theme park is going, if you want to keep track of the progress on that, your best bet is to go and follow me over on Twitch, because this is something I'm going to be live streaming, and the first thing I need to do is actually build the world that I'm then going to build the theme park in. And I will grab schematics, reuse and rebuild a lot of the stuff that we built in Perfect World 2, but I think mostly we are going to be starting from scratch. That way we're not going to keep finding problems with the park that we've already built due to transferring it to a newer version of Minecraft. We're not going to be missing a whole bunch of the blocks that we had, and we can also learn from our mistakes in the original theme park world when it comes to sounds. But sadly, that's all we've got time for today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.